Welcome to another edition of Sin's Hardware motherboard video reviews. Let's take a quick look at this motherboard. I want to make these video reviews as quick as I possibly can. My name is Sin. My real name is Steve, but my online moniker is Sin. Let's take a look at the back panel. I'm doing it like this, so less of me and more of the board, alright? The red ports right here, USB 2.0, right? Blue ones, USB 3.0. RJ45 gigabit Ethernet right here. 7.1 surround sound with SPDIF optical right here. I guess digital, I don't really know. HDMI DisplayPort here, alright? You have DVI, D-sub, better known as VGA, as well as PS2 keyboard and mouse. Alright, so let's move it on over here. We'll start with the PWM. ISL 6364, 4+1 phase PWM. Gigabyte is using driver MOSFETs instead of low RDS on. You see right here, 4 of them for 2 phases. Well, here's just 1 chip for each phase. Basically, these are 35 amp output, the driver most, but these are only about 20. These low RDS on MOSFETs. So it's a all-in-one package. Contains a driver and 2 MOSFETs, and it gives more current. Gigabyte used to use about 8 phases maybe on their older UD3s, the P67 one. And what's different here is that these give a little bit more current, so you don't need 8 to give the same output. You can actually use a little less, switching frequencies a little higher, a lot of output capacitance, take care of ripple. It's a decent VRM, but I wouldn't do 5+ gigahertz overclocking on it. That's just my personal opinion. Here's an ISL 6322G. The 6322G is a 2-phase controller with integrated drivers. That's why you see no drivers with these low RDS on FETs. This is for the system agent. 1 phase up here for the iGPU and 4 phases for CPU cores. Total 140 amps for the CPU cores alone. Alright. In the past it might be a 160, now it's 140. Not really that much leeway anyway, so why not? This ITE GPIO provides LLC and DVID for this ITE 8725E. You won't find a data sheet on it. I think it's special made. These are BIOS chip, 32 megabit. The hybrid UEFI, basically normal BIOS, but also you have touch BIOS, which are in Windows utility. Okay, these are PCIe level shifters, digital video to HDMI/DVI output. Basically, the video is funneled through the DMI from the CPU IGP to the PCH, and the PCH has video outputs. All right. They don't come directly from the CPU. And basically what's up is that these it comes out as one analog for D-sub as well as digital outputs. And the thing is here, the digital output really can only be directly hooked up to DisplayPort. So basically these level shifters allow it to change into HDMI as well as HDMI and DVI. Alright, move over here, we have the RAM phases, single phase ISL 6545. Provides single phase with integrated drivers. They doubled up the MOSFETs here to increase the output. So you have 2 phases here, LEDs here for you. Dual channel RAM, single slot space, 4 slots. Standard spacing between the socket and the DIMMs. Let me give you a little close up. Alright, you see that standard spacing. They use a LOT socket. Alright. Alright, so let's focus now on the lower half. Single phase right here, powered by ISL, same one, 6545, single phase of, and it has integrated drivers, and it provides for a PCH. This provides CPPLL power. Alright, fan connector here, 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 and here. Sorry, here, 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 and here. These are PWM here and here. These two, I like to see always 2 around the socket at least. And that is for a reason, because I like to see push-pull fan configurations on everyday PCs, and this is basically everyday motherboard, so you want to see that. This is a trusted platform module right here. Alright, maybe let's get a little zoom up on the lower half. Alright. Alright. Here we have Marvel SE9172, Marvel's 2nd generation SATA 6 GB per second ports. They're in gray. I would not raid them, even though they can raid. I would raid SATA 3 GB per second devices on this, but I would not raid SATA 6 GB devices on this unless they're HDDs. Okay. I just don't think it can handle it. The SC9128 can definitely handle it, and it can definitely handle it just as well, if not better than Intel, but the 9172, not so much. Okay, so we go to the PCH. Remember, there's not trim on Marvel, because the trim command does not pass through to the Marvel controller. It only passes to Intel controller, native. These white ones are SATA 6 GB per second from Intel. You want to RAID, you do it on here. It's your first port of choice for any SSD. These black ones, 3 of them, 1 straight, 2 angled, are SATA 3 GB per second. eSATA is provided on the back. That's where your 4th one went, okay? This Etron-Tech controller is super speed certified. It's the EJ168A, and that provides a USB header down here, USB 3.0 header down here. You see it's different sizing, USB 2.0, alright? As well as another one here provides 2 more ports back here that I showed you earlier. This is a clear CMOS jumper right here. Putting my pen here is clearing the CMOS as we speak. Alright, that's all it needs. No moving a jumper. But there are pins. Alright, here you have your color-coded front panel stuff. Alright, so we move over here. We have VT6308P. It's a VIA chip, and it provides 1394A IEEE, and you find it on most motherboards that have this 1394A. One here and one here. Alright, there are 4 USB 2.0 ports here, internal headers, all from the PCH. Basically, this red one right here is on-off charge. COM port here provided by BGE receivers and transceivers. Okay, so now let's go to PCI, okay? PCI is directly from the CPU down to these 2 ports, alright? These 2 ports are direct. This is an 8X slot physically, but it has 16X compatibility. 16X slot physically. 8X from the CPU, basically this first half, alright? And the CPU are directly wired. So PCI 3.0 does apply to this with the Ivy Bridge CPU and proper BIOS support. It does apply to the first 8X, but these switches are Gen 2. 4 of them, each switch 2 lanes, back and forth between here and here for SLI 8X 8X or single slot 16X. So basically that 8X, second 8X is not PCI 3.0 capable, alright? These 3 are PCI 1X, they're all from the PCH, as the PCH has 8X PCI 2.0 outputs, okay? Another PCI Express output from the PCH goes to an ITE8892E, and that provides both these PCI legacy slots, alright? ITE8728F provides Super I/O for most Gigabyte boards. We'll take a look back in this little section right here. Okay. Does provide for most Gigabyte boards Super I/O capability. Super I/O is fan temperature voltage monitoring and fan control. That's basically what this baby does, alright? Right here is a Realtek ALC889. It provides high quality audio on most motherboards to date. The Asus ROG series at the moment, the Z68 P67 ones, they use this chip, but they marketed it as creative because they use creative software, right? It's just emulation. But this chip is behind it all. 108 decibel SNR. Gigabyte recently gave an upgrade to all their boards by switching to this codec rather than a kind of lower spec Realtek codec, so they upgraded their boards to this one. And Realtek 811E, it's a NIC controller, gigabit LAN. Alright, so we've gone over all the boards, all the chips basically, but there's one more thing I want to show you, okay? You see right here, I'm zooming on that 5th, this right here, the 5th PCI 2.0 controller, switch. Basically, here's the deal with that. Why is that there? What the hell is it good for? Alright. Basically, USB 3.0 turbo mode. It's an option in the BIOS. What it will do is take PCI lanes and direct them from the CPU to the USB 3.0 controller. If you have too much stuff connected, maybe video out, your USB ports on the back are all filled up, then you want to switch that on. It will cut off some GPU lanes, but it will give faster USB connection. That's if you need it. All right. If you don't, just leave it with the GPUs. There is a 20 gigabyte per second link called a DMI between the PCH and the CPU, and that bypasses it. Alright, it's a feature on most Gigabyte boards now. They're incorporating it. It's one little thing they like to put in there. I didn't find major BIOS issues with this board. I do think the LLC could be stronger. That's load line calibration. All the levels seem to basically do the same thing, but it is something. I would use level 7 if I had to pick. Alright, and there are only 4 headers on this board for fan. Also, these are audio headers if you're wondering. Alright, so if there's anything you'd like to know about the board, please post as comments or go to my website, www.sinhardware.com, for your latest reviews, news, and really anything you want. Oh, also, one more thing, the heat sinks. Thermal pad here, ultra durable sign here, a lot of heats, but what I don't like is it only covers this half of the board, right? It doesn't cover these two driver MOSFETs up here. Of course, this one's for iGPU, but this one's also for CPU. There is phase dropping on this board, and that's why the LEDs are there. So when not in use, it'll drop off phases. This is the lower heatsink, alright, thermal TIM on it.